We're out here to wake you up, to let you know that you are the greatest thing that the Most High created on this earth.
That's right.
And that we need to come back to his laws, his statutes, and his commandments, because that's the only way we are going to survive and thrive in this world.
Right, get out.
Go ahead and read the book of Zephaniah chapter 2.
You gonna send me?
Hold, mic going out? No, it's not going out. Zephaniah 5. So as we said, we got to come together. But how are we going to come together? Read what you got.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not desire.
Scripture says, gather together, O nation not desired. You so-called blacks and Hispanics, you gotta know we're not desired today. It's so easy for them to just shoot us down in the street and get away with it. So we have to gather ourselves together. But how do we gather ourselves together? Do we gather ourselves together in March whenever somebody gets shot in the street? Has that stopped the killing? What about Black Lives Matter marches? Are we supposed to gather ourselves that way?
No.
Are we supposed to gather ourselves in the churches every Sunday? That's not even a Sabbath?
Wake them up.
Because they still shoot us down the street and get away with it. Go ahead and read what you got.
Bring it up.
Give me the book of Zechariah 11:5. We gather ourselves together to march, but we still get shot in the street. And the people that do it, they get right away with it, get vacations. Go ahead and read that.
Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Whose possessors slay them and what?
Hold themselves not guilty.
Tamar Rice,
Not guilty.
Sandra Bland,
Not guilty.
Trayvon Martin,
Not guilty.
whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Now who does that sound like? Who does that happen to? Does that happen to the so-called Chinese man, or does that happen to us?
Wake them up.
Does that happen to you so-called blacks and Native Americans? That's a clue. This Bible is talking about you.
That's right.
These prophecies, this book, this is your history. And you have to come back to the laws and statutes and commandments in this book.
Right.
Who do you think is doing the killing? Who do you think is doing it? Give me the book of Deuteronomy. Give me 32 and 39. Who do you think is doing the killing? You think it's just a coincidence that you step outside and you got to fear for your life? You think it's just a coincidence that when the cops pull you over, you fear for your life, you clutching the steering wheel? Is that normal?
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So-called black man, so-called Hispanic, are you the first one hired, the last one fired? Every city you go to, it looks the same. There's a ghetto here. There's a ghetto in Chicago. There's a ghetto in Dallas. There's a ghetto in New York. Everywhere you go, every city you go to, it looks the same for all of us so-called blacks and Hispanic.
Right. Get good.
This word is for you, you so-called black man, you so-called Hispanic man, you so-called Native American man or woman. This scripture is for you. You are the biblical Israelites.
That's right.
You are God's chosen people.
Right.
And because we didn't keep those commandments, this is what we got. This is what we get. Come here to words, brothers and sisters. Come here to words. Give me verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Cursed shall be your basket in your store. Do we own any textile plants?
Nope.
The clothes that we wear, do we make those clothing, or do we got to buy them from somebody?
Wake them up.
Or do we have to go to our enemies to get our clothing?
Right.
Huh? Do we got to go to Food Lion to get our food? Do we got to go to Popeyes to get our food? Or do we have our own farms? We got our own land. It's not normal. Do you think that's normal? That you got to take the bus to get from 204? Do you think that's normal?
Wake them
Do you
up.
think it's supposed to be that way?
We don't want to hear nothing. We don't want to learn. The so-called white man kept us from reading.
Oh, God went to redeem our people to himself. God redeemed us to be a special people.
Brother, let me ask you something. All our life in this land right here.
All right, shalom. Most in Christ blessed. Happy Sabbath.
Strangers with the border, trying to get the living water. Hate camps you out of order when we trying to move forward. We don't need all the foolery, cars and the jewelry. This word ain't nothing new to me. Changing like it's